Today I had my Fulbright presentation. I'm wrapping up to head back to the US, and it was such a beautiful event. I had so many people come, so shout out to my community for showing up. And one of the people that came were my aunties from my church, Onuri. And there's something we do here in Korea where after dinner you all gather together to have coffee. And so we made our way to the cafe, and as we were sitting down, just chatting. By the way, I made a video montage of my time in Korea, which also got people a little bit more emotional, including me. Anyway, we got chatting about housing, and how you compare Korea houses and American houses, and the conversation get towards, hey, you guys have to come visit me in Oklahoma. I have a big house, you're more than welcome to stay. And they go, yes, we'd love to come see you. And because of you, we're going to start a gay. I'm like, gay? And I'm like, what does that mean? And they explained it to me, and the more I learned about it, the more I thought, wait, we have this in Nigeria because we've always had this. And I'll say, as someone who lives in between cultures, being Nigerian, American, and living here in Korea, you are almost always doing that constant shuffling in between, like what you know, and comparing and contrasting in a healthy way. It's all part of cultural curiosity. So in Nigeria, we call it ajo or esusu, and a group of people commit to contributing a fixed amount regularly, and the pot rotates. Member takes turns receiving the full amount. No bank, no interest, no paperwork, just built solely on community and trust. Now, Korea has been doing the same thing for centuries, but apparently gay has levels, right? And it's not about who gets the money first. Some members are saving towards a specific goal. As a matter of fact, one of my aunties told me that every year she and her girlfriends, they travel to Jeju together and they contribute a certain amount every month. And the sequencing is agreed upfront. And later recipients sometimes get more because the pot has grown. And so it has that structured patience, and there's that collective discipline with a purpose. And here's something that doesn't get talked about enough. Both Gie in Korean and Ajo were historically built and run by women. These were not informal side systems. These were the financial infrastructure of communities held together by women who understood that collective trust was more reliable than any institution available to them at that time. Now, here's where Korea pulled away from everyone else because it's Korea. They digitized it without killing it. Now, Kakao Talk, which is one of the biggest platforms here in Korea, as a matter of fact, Korea is built around Kakao Talk, maybe it's vice versa. Now, the active user base in South Korea is equivalent to 97.4% of the total population. Let that sink in. More than 9 out of 10 Koreans use Kakao Talk. It's not a messaging app. It's infrastructure. So when Kakao knew just how this gay system was really getting to be quite common, they decided to do something about it. They built what they call Moim Tongjang, which is like a shared group savings account, directly into the app Koreans were already living inside. It wasn't necessarily a new product. It was a natural extension of something people already trusted and already used every single day. Which I'll digress a little bit and talk about K-Bank. Now, K-Bank launched first, but Kakao Bank followed in 2017. And within 2 years, it had attracted over 12 million customers. And by the end of 2024, it had around 25 million customers, roughly half of the South Koreans' entire population. Talk about grammar, university students, market vendors, 2 taps, and you're in. Now, compare that to Nigeria. Adjust still works, and it works beautifully, but it lives or dies on personal relationships and trusted organizers. Nigerian fintech is growing fast, but none of it started from a communication platform everybody was already on. That's the gap. And the US, well, the mainstream financial system was never built around collective saving. It was built around individual credit scores. Rotating savings clubs exist, but only inside immigrant communities. West African, Caribbean, Latinos, the people who need alternatives most are the most invisible to the system. Now, Korea took something ancient, built and carried by women for generations, gave it a digital spine, and put it in everyone's pocket. The genius wasn't the banking products, it was trusting the infrastructure that was already there. So here's my question. Do you use Gay, Ajo, or any rotating savings system? And do you think your country could build what Korea built with Kakao? Tell me in the comments. I'll see you in the next video. Bye. Which goes to show you that, man, you can't be in this country and not become a philosopher. I mean, look at me talking about gay and fintech and Ajo and Isusu. Man, I love this country.